It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Geno Jones Showtime. So I come to you live Monday through Friday. Now, programming note from the top. There's going to be no live show this Friday. It'll be the best of the Geno Jones Show, so you can binge watch any episode that you've missed. But normally, the show comes on live Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, about 6:31-ish, almost 6:32 here on the East Coast. 5:30 in Chicago Central Time. So Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Memphis, St. Louis, Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Birmingham, Alabama, because they're on Central Time also. Live in Los Angeles and all up and down the West Coast. We come to you live 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel and support my media company and support Black-owned media. It is so important that we support Black-owned media today, in this time that we are living in real time. It is so important that we support Black-owned media, that we have platforms like this, that we have voices like mine to speak truth to power. It is so important. So many great platforms from, of course, Roland Martin, Don Lemon, and Joy Reid, a lot of folks, Clay King, Karen Hunter. I could just name so many. But the Geno Jones Show, we've been putting in that work and using entertainment and humor and celebrity guests. That's like the candy. We get you, we get you hooked. We lure you in with that celebrity stuff, with the humor, with the fun. But then we hit you with what you need. We hit you with not just what you want, but what you need. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. As my grandmother said, Jean Jones said, Jeannie, tell the truth and shame the devil. Shame him. She didn't cuss, but she probably was saying, tell the truth and shame the devil with his lying ass. So that's what we do right here on the Geno Jones Show. So thank you for watching, everybody. Oh, by the way, this show is interactive. That means that if you're watching me live, I have a chat room that is open. I'm just making a little adjustment right here. So you can I click that? All right, I want to click that. There we go. Just make sure it is open. And then I need to open this back up. There we go. So if you have a question, if you got a comment or whatever you want me to shout you out, please jump in the chat room and just type in whatever. Say, hey, Geno, this is so-and-so. I'm watching. We're watching you wherever you're watching. Doesn't matter, at home, in the office, in the car, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your laptop. Don't matter. In the airport, in the laundromat, in the break room, wherever you might be, it is all good. It is all good. So let me just jump right into the monologue. Oh, by the way, the Geno Jones Show brought to you by the Crate Group, one of the top nonprofit organizations in the country, in all of America. The CEO, Kendrick Bannister. If you are looking for a nonprofit that for 35 years now, going on year 36, over 3 decades, they have been serving the community, serving the culture, and really serving any and all people in need, from young people to adults, to the elderly. The Crate Group and their CEO, Kendrick Bannister, truly doing God's work. Shout out to Brother Bannister, number love for you, man. I appreciate you being such a huge supporter of the Geno Jones Show, being such a huge supporter of my media company. Learn more. If you're looking for a nonprofit that you want to invest into, that you want to pour into, that you want to use as a vessel to bless people that you know that's doing God's work, the Crate Group is that organization. It is that nonprofit. So that's where you should take, if you're looking to donate to a nonprofit, send your money that way. The Crate Group, CRATE .org, thecrategroup.org. On Facebook, it's the Crate Group, or you could do a search and go to their website, thecrategroup.org. And shout out to City Vibes, VIBES, City Vibes Bar and Lounge, the ultimate adult night spot. They're open every night. 7 nights a week. Great food, great fun, great drink, great family. It's just great. Shout out to Corey and Kenya Williams. They're super busy because, as a matter of fact, they were coming on every Tuesday. So if you all are watching me and you know Corey and Kenya, let them know that I have already sent them their Zoom invite. So if they get a minute, I know they were in meetings about not even an hour ago because I reached out to them. So Corey sent me a text. And then, so the app, so my text app, you have like an app where you can send and receive text messages. So it's like on the fritz. It's freezing up. I have like rebooted this phone, so I don't know what the heck is going on. So I can't send out text messages. I got to call people. So anyway, anybody watching that knows Corey or Kenya, you can text them and say, hey, listen, Geno said he sent you your Zoom invite, and if you all get a chance to jump on his show live so we can talk about the upcoming week, because they always have something going on at the Crate Group. All right, I got that out the way, everybody. Not getting it out the way, but we took care of the business. Now let's get to the monologue. Let's get to some different business. I always taught my daughters that I taught them a lot. But one of the things that I said, if you make a mistake or if you learn that maybe you have something wrong or you got it wrong, not intentionally, just, at a certain moment you had a certain set of facts. But after you read more, studied more, talked to more people, as your facts expanded, as you received more facts, then maybe your initial premise would change because you had an opinion, you had a premise based on one set of facts, but as you got more facts, you like, okay, well, you know what? I need to reassess my position, my point of view, my commentary, how I felt one day may be different now because the facts I have today, I didn't have yesterday. And now that I have more facts, then I've got to look at this thing differently. So, and then I would say if you're ever wrong, if you make a mistake, just own it. Raise your hand. Be the first one. If you make a mistake, say, you know what? On me, my bad. I own it. I made the mistake. Apologize, atone, and learn from it. It's not that I didn't make any mistake, but there's been a lot of talk about what's been happening. The government almost shut down, and I'm about to drill down, but I'm going to keep it real simple for you. So today I saw some video of the Senator Chuck Schumer. He's in the U.S. Senate. He's one of the 2 senators from New York State. He is the minority leader in the Senate because the Democrats are in a numerical minority. At this moment, there are more senators that are Republicans. So basically, if you have 50 plus 1, and of course the vice president is a MAGA cult member, so there's like 52, 53, 50, I think 53 Republican senators. Only 47, really it's 45 plus 2 independents that vote, and they meet, and as they call it, caucus with the Democrats. Bernie Sanders from Vermont, he's an independent, and a guy Angus King he is from that part. I don't know if Angus King, he might be from New Hampshire. But anyway, Angus King is a senator from one of those New England states. And they are technically independents that vote along with the Democrats. So that gives the Democrats 47 votes. So there was a lot of talk about what happened. I've been talking about it really since Friday, at least. Friday and then Monday, yesterday, I talked a lot about it on the show. So was it Thursday? Did we do a live show Friday? Man, there's so many shows. But I talked about it toward the end of the week. Now I think about it. Yeah, I think I did have a show Friday. But you can go back and binge watch. And then Monday, we talked about it. And so the general take was that Chuck Schumer really got punked by the Republicans, and that he just bent over and bowed down and gave the Republicans what they wanted. that was the general consensus. Now, everybody didn't agree. And my take was, even though I understood, because I saw Thursday night, Senator Schumer went on MSNBC and basically said why he basically voted to keep the government open, even though what he voted for, this government bill, piece of legislation. I want to keep it simple for everybody. It has some things in there in terms of money that would be cut money that could be moved around and taken from some of your programs that protect and help people, anti-poverty, just programs to help those poor working class children, primarily Medicaid. Medicaid is health insurance through the government. 40% of children in America get their health care through Medicaid. You have adults who are disabled from an injury. It could be anything from an injury while they were serving their country at war. It could be a workplace accident. It could be a car accident. It could be an illness to where people can't work full time. It could be a ton of things, from cancer to epilepsy. There are many medical reasons that would qualify people for what they call Social Security disability, which is paid through Medicaid. And then Medicare is health insurance for the elderly and the seniors who collect Social Security. That's like money that you are paid, that's your money that you paid into. And then, of course, Medicare is a health insurance that you also paid into with the Social Security money that they take out of your check every pay period. Those who get a check through payroll. Even as a business owner, you still have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes because if you have a payroll, you still got to take out, along with FICA, you still got to pay those taxes that go into Social Security and Medicare. But it's the money of your employees. So let me just keep it real simple. So I saw Chuck Schumer on The View with Whoopi Goldberg, and shout to Whoopi, because she just opened up, she's like, bam, all right, listen, what happened? Because I saw Hakeem Jeffries, he is the minority leader in the House of Representatives, so he is the leader of the Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Chuck Schumer is the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. They both are in the minority because there are more Republicans in the House of Representatives currently, but in the House only by like 2 or 3. And in the U.S. Senate, I think it's 52, 53, 47. Now, apparently, according to Hakeem Jeffries, that he and Chuck Schumer hadn't talked in maybe a week or two, and the last conversation they had, that Chuck Schumer was going to say, no, we're not, the Senate, we're not going to vote to keep the government open because there's just things that are just really bad in this piece of legislation. But he was on, and then Thursday, when the vote went down last Thursday, he went on MSNBC, and he explained why he did it. But I just got to be honest, he did a piss poor job from this standpoint. And I can imagine this man's been a politician all his life. So, after a while, you speak, there's a certain language you have, certain jargon you use to, there's a certain speak that you have, that you talk a certain way because you are, you're a U.S. Senator. So you talk like a U.S. Senator. But who you are talking to are the American people. So what you have to understand is you've got to be able to speak to the American people where they are. In baseball, there's a term, put it belt high, right there. Not too high, not too low. Put it right there, right in my belt, so I can knock it out the park. My late grandfather, Conway Jones, and the late Joe Madison, radio icon, legendary talk show host, I heard both of them say something. There was a phrase, put it where the goats can get it. That means explain it in a way that even a goat could understand. So if a goat can understand it, then you know a human, even a child, can understand it. And Chuck Schumer did not explain to people why he was so insistent on keeping the government open. So shout out to Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies on The View, because they got it out of him. And then when I heard his reason, when he really broke it all the way down, when he broke it down like a fraction in math class in 6th grade, or I think what, 2nd or 3rd grade when we started doing fractions, I think maybe 3rd grade at the latest, when they taught us how to break a fraction down to its least common denominator, break it down like you're stripping a car all the way down to the chassis, put it belt high right here, not too high, not too low, put it right here where you can hit it, put it where the goats can get it so everybody can understand. And Chuck Schumer did that. So basically he explained that if the government shut down, that meant all government spending would be cut off, all of it, for every program that you name it, from just programs, they got so many programs. Let's just talk about Head Start, which is like preschool for children whose parents don't have the money to pay for like preschool privately. That's what Head Start is. It's like, well, like I said, preschool paid for by the government. I'm not gonna make it any more complicated. So everything from Head Start to school breakfasts and lunches for kids who come from poor homes in terms of a lack of money economically, living at the poverty level or below the poverty level. And a lot of working class families qualify because they may be right at or slightly, technically on paper, they may be slightly over the poverty line, but they are actually living in poverty. Check to check, not just check to check to pay advances and these payday loans and all of that, just to survive. So, the government shut down, all government spending for everything, like I said, from Head Start to the Meals on Wheels program, is meals for the elderly, for seniors who don't have enough money even with their Social Security. And some may get Social Security and SNAP benefits, but even with that, it's still not enough to get them through an entire month with 30 or 31 days. Sometimes that last week, the last 4 or 5 days, you're out of money and you're out of food and you don't know what to do. So the Meals on Wheels program is a program for the elderly and seniors that allows them to have meals brought to their home that can get them through until they get their Social Security money or whatever money they get, Social Security or SNAP benefits or that EBT card at the first of the month. But if the government was shut down, all of that government spending, money for veterans benefits, you name it, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of it, everything, all government spending is stopped. And guess who controls it? The only people that can make a decision about all of that government money, all that government money that's been frozen is the muskrat, is Orange Hitler, Donald J for Jackass Trump, the muskrat, the apartheid Nazi South African immigrant who's come to this country. We talk about immigrants taking American jobs and taking tens of thousands of American jobs, even though the courts it made him or made his little department Doge or Dodgy or dumbass or whatever it is. So basically Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and this guy named Russell Vought, who is the head of called the Office of Management and Budget, controlling the money and where the money goes. So the bottom line, the only people who control that money was that what they call the executive branch. Those three people. And their sole goal, their primary goal, one of their primary goals, really their primary goal, and they've been stating it publicly, they put it in Project 2025, they want to completely destroy the federal government in terms of all the different branches of the federal government that provides services to Americans. They want to get rid of all the programs, the anti-poverty programs that have taken people out of poverty. Before Social Security, first check came out in 1940. Before Medicare, before Medicaid, which came in the 60s, the majority of American people lived in poverty. And those who were elderly and were fortunate enough to live to see 65 and above, because 65 is not even elderly now, they lived in absolute poverty. The seniors of America before really 1940, Franklin Roosevelt, the president, in the mid-30s after the Great Depression, began to put in programs like Social Security, even though that was on some bullshit because black Americans, the first black person didn't get on Social Security till 1954, but the first check went out in 1940. So why it took 14 years for black people to finally be allowed to get Social Security, and I'm sure they were taking it out of our check, that's a different conversation. So Chuck Schumer said, listen, this is what would have happened if there would have been a government shutdown. So this is the part of the show where you can copy and paste, or you can clip this part right here, right now. So if the government shut down, Orange Hitler and the Muskrat, racist ass Elon Musk, they would have been able to decide what money and what departments that they eliminated, and what money that they could basically take and steal from one department and give those tax cuts to the billionaires and these corporations that are making billions, damn near trillions of dollars, which is what they want to do anyway. And what they plan to do, unless we shut it down, and how we can shut it down, one is to make sure that we show up and show out in numbers like never before in 2026, and show up, hold your own town halls, show up to your senator's office. All right, but I'll get back to that later. So here we go. Government shutdown. Here's day 2. This is according to Chuck Schumer, and he did a great job of breaking it down just like this. And it's really this simple. This is the cut and paste. This is the clip and save, clip and send off to everybody and explain to them what would have happened with a government shutdown. Let's say day 2. SNAP money. Orange Hitler and Elon Musk, they say, is not essential because in a government shutdown, the only people who are really required to work, departments that are required to stay open, are departments that are declared essential. And if there's any branch of the government, or if there's any job, if you have a job, and if your job, if in the federal government, but if your job is deemed non-essential, they can send you home. They can basically shut down your department. So, day 2. Poor folks, they don't need to eat. They're already too fat anyway. They're just greedy. SNAP money is not essential in a government shutdown. That's what Orange Hitler would have declared. So, everybody that depends on SNAP, and now the majority of people to get SNAP benefits are actually poor and working class white women. The majority of people on SNAP benefits are white Americans. Almost twice as many white Americans as black Americans and Hispanic Americans are on SNAP. So a bunch of poor working class white folks, a bunch of folks in all these rural states with their red MAGA hats and flags flying, their asses would be starving because those SNAP benefits would not show up at the first of the month. Or you know what else wouldn't show up on the first of the month? They could say maybe on day 5, day 3, Medicaid, that money, Medicaid, that program is not essential. So you know what? Just eliminate it, take that money, give it to the billionaires. Day 6, money for mass transit. You live in Chicago, New York, you live in Atlanta. You know, you got the CTA in Chicago. Of course, you got New York Transit with the Port Authority, your trains, subways, buses. Atlanta, you got MARTA. You know, you got the BART rail system in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland. DC's got their own public transportation system. Oh, that money's gone. Oh, wow. Pretty soon, if you depend on public transportation, no way to get to work. Buses stop running because money runs out, and states can only keep it going for so long. So eventually, cities don't have enough money to run the buses and the trains. Millions, tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions, easily tens of millions of Americans can't get to work, can't get to school. Because all the cities that depend on mass transportation, that money's gone. Oh, maybe day 10 they say, wait a minute, Social Security, that's not essential. That is a non-essential part of the government. The Social Security agency is not essential. We can declare that because there's a government shutdown. Orange Hitler can declare that. And Elon Musk rat can get in his ear. No Social Security checks. That's what would have happened and could have happened if there was a government shutdown. And apparently, some Republican senators that were full of themselves, and they was bragging to the Democrats, some of the Democratic senators, according to Senator Chuck Schumer, they said if the government was allowed to shut down, that MAGA's plan, the cult, because basically once the government goes into a shutdown, when all government spending is stopped, the only person that can bring us out of a government shutdown is the president along with the Congress. And who controls the Congress? The MAGA cult does. So, I did not know to that extent. Now, we're going to be facing this again in September, something called this, like a debt ceiling. Basically, they want to be allowed, MAGA wants to allow this government to run up more debt to give to billionaires, not to run up debt to keep schools open, not to make sure that school kids get free lunches and free breakfasts like they've been getting, not for kids to get Head Start, to get free preschool through the government. They don't want to run up the budget to give people more Social Security money or more Medicare benefits or Medicaid benefits. Oh, none of that. No, they don't want to run up the deficit so more seniors and the elderly can get more Meals on Wheels. No, they want to get rid of all that. They want to run up the deficit to give Elon Musk, who gets $8 million a day. Elon Musk companies receive $8 million a day from the federal government. All of the companies that get subsidies, corporate welfare, federal government subsidies, taxpayer money. I'm just going to break it down and make it real simple. $8 million a day, the Elon Musk companies through the federal government receive our money. $8 million a day in tax, your taxpayers' money and my taxpayers' money. Your tax money and mine. Part of that whole FICA on your check. In the meanwhile, senior citizens who get Social Security, the average person on Social Security gets $65 a day. $65 a day. So Elon Musk wants to take the $65 a day in Social Security that your mother or your grandmother is getting. Take all of that for himself on top of the $8 million a day that we are giving him because he was awarded all these government contracts. $38 billion in government subsidies. This country has given Elon Musk, through corporate welfare, $38 billion with a B dollars. And we, the American taxpayers, give Elon Musk's companies $8 million a day. And this selfish bastard wants to take your mother's Social Security and mine. Man, blank him. F that clown. So Chuck Schumer, you did a great job of explaining it. Should have explained it this way before. So now it's going to be up to us, people who own a media company like mine, black-owned media, all of us out there, and not just black-owned media, but voices like mine, but specifically we got to support black-owned media because basically this government wants to erase black history, the achievements of black people, and just try to figure out a way to erase black wealth and all of it. But not just, here's the thing, they don't want to just get rid of black folks' wealth. Poor and working class white people, they don't, who think that the American dream, that you're going to be wealthy, no, they have got. Why do you think they want to get rid of all the anti-poverty programs? And they want to get rid of the Department of Education and get rid of the Pell Grants and financial aid that people apply for through FAFSA, that government application to get government loans and grants, like Pell Grants, and some loans through the federal government to go to school, to go to college. Yeah, you got a kid in college or just came out, you know that FAFSA form is because you have to fill it out every year. And I've had to fill out a lot for 8 years. 4 years for Boogie, 4 years for Allie. Last year was 2024. It was last year, really 2023 going into 24 was like the last year we had to do FAFSA. So 2024. So all of that. They want to get rid of all of that. And I've been telling you that these billionaires don't give a shit about you, poor and working class, white America. They despise you. They look down on you. They call you losers and suckers. They don't give a shit about you. They think less of you than they do of black people and Mexicans, brown people, Native Americans. That's saying a lot. But they understand that this system was never built to benefit black and brown people. This system in America, the capitalism and democracy, it was originally never built for women. It was built for the people who, in the Constitution, the original Constitution stated who were allowed to vote. Wealthy, white, male landowners. Full stop. Wealthy, white, here, remixed Christian is remixed racist version of Christianity. So I've learned more. So I get it, Chuck Schumer. Now, he may not be the right messenger, but I have to acknowledge, after learning even more facts about what would have happened if the government would have shut down, I understand why he did it. I have to be honest. So now we know what the game plan is. So now is the time to message and to make sure that if there is a government shutdown, because they're going to play this game again, the MAGA cult's going to play this game again. But the ultimate goal, no matter what, see, they just thought they could kind of blame it on the Democrats because they will continue to lie because so many people want to believe this lie. They want to believe the lie because this made-up con game, construct of whiteness, it's been so brainwashing that poor, I'm talking about abject poverty, trailer park, living in the hills or mountains of Appalachia, who can't even afford dental coverage, with half of their teeth out of their mouth, who can barely articulate a half a sentence. The poorest, Lyndon Johnson said, if you could make the poorest white man think he is better than the best black man, he will, like I'm paraphrasing, he will gladly give you all of his money. Gladly, all of it. Just lie to him and make him think that he's better than the best black man. But in the meantime, pass laws that will never allow poor and working class white people to get out of abject poverty unless they're fortunate, play the lottery, maybe have a skill or talent and somehow can work their way out of poverty like so many of us, of all backgrounds. White, black, Hispanic, Native American. But these billionaires, they're not rigging a system for some poor white person in a trailer park in Appalachia, in Kentucky, or Tennessee, or West Virginia, or South Carolina in some little rural area. Oh, this on Medicaid and SNAP, they don't give a shit about you. That's working at the local Walmart in your little country town, or Burger King and McDonald's, or a factory, they don't give a shit about you. Working class, poor, broke, MAGA, they don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. And they put it in this damn near 1,000-page booklet, blueprint, like their racist Bible, Project 2025. Some people call it a plan. They printed out damn near 1,000-page plan, which is really a plan from the 80s. Even before that, the wealthiest people in this country never wanted Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And they hated Franklin Roosevelt, who was a wealthy man himself from the state of New York, who had a sense of compassion and empathy and humanity, even though he still had some racist shit in him. The fact that black Americans couldn't get Social Security until 14 years after the first Social Security check went out in 1940. But nonetheless, he had there's levels to bigotry and hate and racism and misogyny and sexism. But he had a sense of compassion and humanity for poor and working class people, because the majority of poor and working class people were the majority of them. Actually, the majority of Americans were living in poverty. Yes, they were living in abject poverty. They were. And this billionaire class is trying to take everybody back to, like, not just, it's 2025. Literally, they're trying to go back to 1825. They're trying to invoke a law to where they can just basically deport any person that's an immigrant. That was a wartime law, federal law, but we are not at war. And the judge said, no, wait, stop. No, you bring them people, no, you can't do that. No due process, no hearing, no evidence that these people committed a crime. You just snatched them up because You think they Venezuelan? You think they may be in a Venezuelan gang with no evidence of a crime, and just kind of, oh, we think you a Venezuelan gang member. We're gonna snatch your ass up and send you to El Salvador and have the prime minister, the president of El Salvador put you in a prison, and America pay, and then Americans pay for it? So my tax money is paying to lock up some Venezuelan in El Salvador who might be in a Venezuelan gang? Send them bastards, send that so-and-so, send them to Venezuela, but Venezuela don't want to take them. So you send them to El Salvador and you paying them? My money? What kind of bullshit is that? Oh, come on. I'm breaking it down. I am breaking it down. So please understand that for basically the last 100 years, really a little less than 100 years, that these billionaires, they talk about something called the Gilded Age. You had folks like the Rockefellers and the Carnegie Mellons in Chicago. You had the Marshall Field families, the Rothschilds. You had all these people who were like millionaires who would be billionaires today, while the majority of Americans were living in abject poverty. Soup lines, soup kitchens, white Americans. So you can imagine what it was like for black people, because our ancestors had to live under Jim Crow, where they had no laws that white people had to respect when it came to black people. Hence the murder, the lynching, the rape, the laws legally that allow segregation and discrimination, and didn't hold people accountable for basically domestic terrorism. Racial violence is domestic terrorism. Man, come on. All right, I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow, but sometimes when you learn, when the facts change, or when you receive more facts, then your position changes, your attitude changes. When your knowledge expands, your conversation needs to expand. You need to make sure that the conversation, the commentary that you have and that you are giving is rooted in fact, truth, compassion, humanity, empathy, and love. And if it's not, and if you don't do it, because I was gonna say if it is not, or if it's not, because I'm always trying to make sure that my grammar's right. But anyway, if it's not rooted in compassion, love, empathy, humanity, truth, and love, then you are a tool of Satan. I'm just gonna call it what it is. You are an agent of Satan. You are an agent of the devil. You are an agent of evil and hatred and bigotry and misogyny and sexism. But unfortunately, we got a lot of them running around here. So, in closing, what can we do about it? Vote, vote, vote. And I'm going to beat this drum every day, because what's happening wasn't a secret. Once again, it was in this nearly 1,000-page blueprint. They printed it out. They put it online in a PDF form where you could download it for free. They didn't give a shit about you knowing. They weren't afraid. Project 2025. What? A year, 2 years on this show, I talked about it. Well over a year. Felt like I talked about Project 2025 for 2 years. Warned you, told you everything that was in it, basically, that all the main things that they wanted to do, And here we are. And you voted, you know, America put Orange Hitler back in office. But the interesting thing, the very interesting thing is that 90 plus million, I think the number is like 92 million Americans who were eligible to vote did not even vote. And black voter turnout, in spite of all the voter suppression. And yes, that went on, and I know it, and I talked about that, and I warned everybody, and I told them what they could do to limit it, to circumvent it, to keep it from being as bad. I told you what these folks were going to do. Check your voter registration status. But here we are. So what can we do now? Now it's time to show up. I'm going to leave you with a fact. And I want to shout out, I want to give him his props. Because the first time I heard this number, this fact, shout out to Clay Kane, who does a radio show on Sirius XM, Urban View, called The Clay Kane Show. Y'all know Clay Kane. Somebody copy this, screen grab this, clip this, and send it to Clay. I guess Geno, you clip it and send it to Clay. And I'll try to do that. I know he's busy, I'm busy. But I'm giving him his props on the show. He's got a book called, I think it's called The Grift, basically talking about, especially black Republicans, that's basically sold out their community and their culture for a check. It ain't just politicians, but he focused on the politicians, and it's not just black ones, but I think his main focus in the grift was the black ones. But Donald Trump is the ultimate grifter also, and used racism and misogyny and sexism to gain power, to gain wealth for he and his family and his buddies, his billionaire buddies. But this is one of the facts in the book that was very interesting. 3 years after the Civil War ended, officially, so that year would be 1868. Now keep in mind, only men could vote, black or white. So after the Civil War, black men were allowed to vote in federal elections, in vote period. So 1868, there was an election. Now, do you know what the voter turnout for black men in America was? Now think about 1868, you still, even though the Civil War had ended and that legally that black people were free, there was still murder and lynching and rape, and it was racial violence, domestic terrorism, trying to terrorize and intimidate black people in 1868. And in spite of that, 80% of black men who were eligible to vote in 1868 voted. I think the highest voter turnout that we've had overall recently was 2012. That was 1 year where the percentage of black people in America outvoted white people by percentage. I think it was like 2012, I think it was like close to 65. Both elections, Barack Obama was president, black people voted. I think it was over 60%. I don't know if it was 62. Don't quote me. You can do your own Google search. But in 2012, I think it was 65% of all the eligible black people that could vote voted. And that's good. But still, 35% still didn't vote. But in 1868, 80% of black men voted. Why should I vote? To make sure that you're able to get your Social Security or Medicare when it's time for you to get it, or Medicaid, or if you're getting it, so you can keep it, so you won't be living in poverty, or your mom or your grandparents or your aunt or your uncle won't be living in poverty, so your grandchild can get that maybe needs Head Start because the family doesn't have enough money to send her to a private preschool. Or maybe you've got a family member who's living check to check, right there, on the edge, needs some help. not making a lot of money on their job. They qualified to get free school lunches and breakfasts, free breakfast and lunch through the Department of Education. Or that's a part of Medicaid also. Free school breakfasts, free school lunch for children. Or maybe you may be receiving food stamps, that little EBT card. Somebody in your family may need it. Your health insurance, like I said, if you're on Social Security, your health insurance through Medicare, through Medicare, I had it right, or the family member, or your children or grandchildren who get their health insurance through Medicaid, because 40% of all America's children get their health insurance through some form of Medicaid. And you, on Social Security, you get your health insurance through Medicare. You need to keep that, right? And you want your Social Security money because that's your money that you have paid into it. They took Social Security money out of every check that you've received on a payroll. Now, I ain't talking about getting paid under the table, but if you've been on a payroll, you name the payroll, ADP and all them companies, that check stub, now you see it online, but you still, FICA taxes, all the Social Security, they break it down for you. That is your money, and they playing with your money. They gonna play with your money, and then they gonna play in your face with your money, and you gonna be cool with it? You gonna let them do it? All right, you're voting for your survival, for your freedom, for the freedom and the survival of not just yourself, but your children and your grandchildren, maybe your unborn grandchildren or great-grandchildren. All right. You got the power. Yes, we still have the power. And every day I'm going to make it a point to explain to you in a real simple way to all of us, everybody watching me, that we've got the power and how we can use it to get people's attention. And I will close by saying it's still the best way to get people's attention with money and power. But even folks with power want money. The best way to get people's attention that worship money, because these billionaires, their God is money. That's who they worship. They worship money before they worship God. And the way to get their attention is to start digging in them pockets. Elon Musk is crying with his bitch ass because Tesla's stock has tanked. Folks not even messing with them Teslas, because you don't want to be branded as a Nazi. It's a Nazi car that's currently owned by a Nazi, racist, misogynist, sexist. It just really lucked out. Come on now. Target, they finding out their stock prices is dropping because that 40-day blackout of Target, oh, it's just getting started. We got a lot of power. So we just got to be smart and strategic in how we use it and shift that power. Shout out to Costco. Costco understands the assignment, and their sales are going through the roof, black folks. Because you have a member that's about to renew, you have a person that's about to renew his Costco membership very shortly, because my Sam's Club membership is about to expire. And I will not be renewing it. And I will be stressing to everybody, if you have a membership at Sam's Club, you let it expire, cancel it. And look, there's a significant number of black people. There's a Sam's Club here in our community, and they have some black employees that are familiar with me because of doing my radio show for 20 years here and my TV show. And I think about them because, people say, well, we're going to boycott, Target or Sam's Club. They got black people working. What are we going to do? Hopefully, Hopefully they can go and work for a company like Costco, some of these other companies that understand that diversity, a diverse workforce, and better yet, more important, a diverse clientele, a diverse customer base is great for business. It's great for your bottom line, for your money. Bigotry is bad. Now, hatred and bigotry is big business, but it just goes to show you how short-sighted and stupid it is. Because big business can be even bigger with more customers. And with diversity, I want everybody's money. I want a diverse customer base, a diverse clientele. I want diverse dollars. I want some of every dollar from every community. Way to get these people's attention, keep digging in them pockets. Now, I know some say, well, they probably want to, it's the plan. These billionaires, they want the stock market to tank and the market to crash. Then the value of all these companies will go down, but you got enough billionaires, they'll just come in and start buying up. Yeah, but it's if that goes down. And then, this whole crypto and Bitcoin and Donald Trump talked about making some cryptocurrency part of the Federal Reserve. So we know what that is. So you're trying to create more value. You want to tank the American dollar and somehow think you can replace the dollar with America's version of crypto? Keep playing with these people's money. Somebody on Wall Street said this: the market, Wall Street, cannot be bullied. Play with these people, play with these people's money. To you, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, play with these people's money. Play with these people's Social Security check. Play with these people's SNAP benefits, but especially play with these people's Social Security checks and their veterans benefits checks that they get, and their Medicare and their veterans health care, and keep playing around with these companies, with these tariffs. Keep playing around, because not every billionaire is on this MAGA bullshit. Keep playing with these people's money. So you play with the poor folks' money, the poor and working class people's money, including these poor white folks, and then the white folks that ain't on this MAGA shit, and everybody else on Wall Street, and people with their 401k plans, and they got investment plans through their job, mutual funds through their jobs and union. Go ahead, keep playing with these people's money. All right. They're going to find out. Come 2026, talking about a wave. It's going to be a blue tsunami. It ain't going to be, it's going to just be a tsunami for humanity and empathy and compassion and decency. Because you can only play with these people's money for so long. And even the most brainwashed cult member, after they miss enough checks on the first of the month, and they miss meals because they can't get a Social Security check, they can't get SNAP, they can't get any benefits, they can't get Meals on Wheels. Mess with these people's money long enough. Some of these people that worshiped in it. Now, some of these cult members, they would die. They would drink Kool-Aid laced with cyanide, like what happened in Jonestown, Guyana, back in the late 70s, Jim Jones. But it's going to be a bunch of them. It's like, hold on. What is this? Yeah. Man, what's this? This been trying to kill me? They going to want their money. Mess around, F around, play with these people's money. You think your approval rating is dropped? Go ahead. Every dictator in the history of humanity, they have been their own worst enemy. And the one thing that brought them down was their ego, their narcissism, and their greed. throw in stupidity, but it's the ego and the narcissism. That's a lethal combination. With greed, that trio, it's a lethal combination. And they are always the reason for their own demise. They take themselves down. Because the ego and the feeling, the narcissism, and the ego, the feeling of power is like an orgasm. Because half of them, they can't have an orgasm even with blue and red and blue pills anyway. And that feeling, it gets good to them, and they feel that they are invincible and unstoppable. And even John Roberts, who is MAGA light, who's helped embolden and empower this MAGA cult and Orange Hitler today, was like, oh, hold on now. Wait a minute. Now, when these federal judges, they give you a ruling, you're not a king. No. You think you're a king. No. Because he feels that this Supreme Court is going to really allow him to be a dictator. And I'm not a fan of John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, and Justice Alito. They done. To the grave, MAGA. But I don't think John Roberts thought it was going to get this bad. Supreme Court, he is the Chief Justice. And even Amy Coney Barrett has kind of voted with Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson and the other Democrats say, hold on now. Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm a daughter of a MAGA kinda, a little bit, but y'all going too damn far with this. Hold on. We can't do that. We can't do it like that. If around, find out, but keep messing with these people's money. You ain't seen nothing. And trying to, create martial law, dude, I'm just telling you. The people have the power. And the more they realize it, then the sooner this is going to end. And it is going to end. Because the people are going to end it. Because all the people are going to realize that it is the billionaires versus humanity. The billionaires versus the rest of not just America, the billionaires versus the planet, the billionaires versus the 21st century. Because they want to just reverse all of that. Well, billionaires versus the 21st and 20th century. All right, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. You and especially you, most of all, God, thank you for letting me do the Geno Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Quick programming note, there will be no live show this Friday, so it'll be the best of the Geno Jones Show Friday. Tell everybody, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please financially support my media company. Support the Geno Jones Show. It's so important that we support Black-owned media so voices like mine and platforms like mine can continue and grow and reach even more people. And we do that by your support financially. As a sponsor, you can send me a Gmail. You can Gmail me, GenoJonesShow@gmail, GenoJonesShow@gmail. And I will get back with you. I'll give you a contact phone number. We'll exchange phone numbers. So we'll be able to, I'll make sure that you get a sponsorship package, or you can individually, if you want to support the show, no donation, no contribution, no level of financial support for this show and my media company is too small or too large. It can be $5. It can be $50. It can be $500. It can be $5,000. It can be $50,000. It can be $5 million. It can be $50 million. It can be $500 million. Doesn't matter. I don't know if you can Cash App that kind of money, or Zelle it. But you can Cash App me, $ capital D, lowercase AD, capital GJ, lowercase ONES, $ Dad G Jones, $ capital D, lowercase AD, capital G, capital J, ONES, $Dad G Jones. You can Zelle me. Just Zelle, search Geno Jones. That's how you spell it. And then type in 843. You'll find me that way. So you can Zelle me also. I'm setting up Venmo. And I may have to restart, I guess is the correct words. I haven't Cash App. It's been inactive. I guess I'm going to have to reactivate that PayPal account. Because it hasn't been active. It's been inactive for a while. So I may reactivate Cash App, but I'm definitely going to set up Venmo also, because I know a lot of people are on Venmo. A lot of people are on Zelle and Cash App. So you can financially support the show that way. Please copy and paste, and you can clip this and share this to let everybody know how they can financially support the show. The Geno Jones Show, speaking of support, brought to you by the Crate Group, one of the top nonprofits in America, doing great work in the community. If you are looking for a nonprofit that is doing God's work, you want to invest, you want to bless, you want to pour into the Crate Group if you're looking for a nonprofit to really give your money to. The Crate Group, Brother Kendrick Bannister, the CEO, CRATE, thecrategroup.org. On Facebook, The Crate Group. Shout out to City Vibes, VIBES, City Vibes, Bar and Lounge, the ultimate bar and lounge, 9730 Dorchester Road. Shout out to Corey and Kenya Williams. What up, family? Kenya's been so busy because she's like a guest co-host. We gonna get her on, get her back on. They're open every night of the week. Great food, great drink, great fun. I said great food, great fun, great family, great drink, and a great atmosphere. Vibes are great. City Vibes. All right. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. City Vibes. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out, CEO of Designer Cuts. He's on Instagram, KELBECUTTINUP, because Kel be cutting up. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. You can check Allie Jones and her Legacy Jones collection out. LX.NCL_LX.NCL_ and Bruce Gage, also wardrobe consultant, stylist to the show. Check him out on Instagram, Mario Uomo. That's UOMO, Mario MARIO, Uomo, UOMO, and Bruce Gage on Facebook. Thank you for watching, everybody. Once again, the show is interactive. Anytime you're watching me live, please, and big shout out to David, Brother David Jones. Just met him at Publix. He saw I had my hood open. I was actually putting some wiper fluid because the pollen is out like crazy. It's like somebody took yellow cake mix and poured it all over my car. I'm trying to keep my wipers, my windshield clear of this yellow cake mix looking stuff, pollen. I ran out of wiper fluid. I topped off my wiper fluid, but the brother saw that I had my hood up, and he said, "Hey man, do you need a jump? You got cables?" He thought I needed a jump. And he said, we got to look out for each other, especially right now, in real time. We got to look out for each other. And I knew exactly what he was saying, because I feel the exact same way, and I say the exact thing every day. We are all we got, but the truth is we are all we need. We come together like the Avengers, like the Black Avengers. It's a wrap. But we are truly our brother's keeper. And that's not some bullshit line with Wesley Snipes from New Jack City. We have got to live that. We've got to breathe it. That has got to be our mission. We got to be on duty, on call. We got to be on mission 24/7, 365 days. That we got to look out for each other. And many of us are. So, Brother David, I don't know if you're watching, but I hope you tune in. I just wanted to shout you out, and I wanted to share that story. I was going to save it, but I'll mention it again. I'll probably do it at the beginning of my show tomorrow and shout you out. David Jones, he's subscribing to my channel. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciated you. You didn't know who I was, but you saw another black man. You thought he may needed a hand. I appreciate that because we're wired the same way. We understand the assignment and we understand the moment that we are living in, and we are ready to meet the moment. We are meeting the moment. All right, everybody, I love you. I am out. I will see you live Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please spread the word. Tell everybody to subscribe to the show and let them know how they can support the show financially. They can Cash App $Dad G Jones, or they can Zelle Geno Jones and type in 843.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.